Okay, everybody. I have something really cool to tell you about. If you haven't heard yet about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain here. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one single place. Now, the way that you can do this is you got to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, and then you can get started. It's really fun. We just switched over recently here at All Too Real 2, and I'm enjoying it so far. So be sure to check it out and let us know what you think. Okay, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me via Facebook Messenger is...
Matthew Haas.
Yes, my cohort in podcasting.
In madness. Oh.
And sadness. Merriment and everything. Yes, today we have a very special episode. We have an interview with character actor and leading actor on stage and screen, Lee Arenberg, who people may know from the Pirates of the Caribbean films where he played Pintel. I think that's how you say it. Pintel? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. One of the crew members for Captain Barbossa. You'll remember him as the guy that said, hello, Poppet. You know, that guy. And you've got, he was in a TV show Once Upon a Time recently as Leroy, a.k.a. Grumpy. And, he's been in a bazillion things. Helped start the Actors Gang out in California with Tim Robbins and other well-known actors that he's worked with from time to time too in movies such as Tapeheads and Bob Roberts. He has a very insightful look on life. It was great talking to him. I could have talked to him for another 4 or 5 hours, but I like to keep the show at less than an hour or so, you know. So, I don't know. What's your favorite Lee Arenberg character? Matt?
I don't know.
Don't know? You like them all?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I like him as
Grumpy. I mean, is that...
Grumpy on Once Upon a Time, just because I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's a great...
I'm obsessed with that TV show at the moment.
It's a great show. It really is.
Yeah. But anyways, here's the interview with Lee Arenberg.
How are you tonight?
Man, I'm all right. I'm going through some shit, but my mom's not well, so
that's
92. 92 though, like a great run.
Yeah,
but just dealing with kind of the end of the life, honoring her wishes, get some good visits. And now COVID too, like on that, the COVID flavor in her, basically she's in assisted living. Well, it's independent living, but now assisted. And yeah, man, it's a schlep. It's for me, it's I live up on the beach now, if not in LA. So I'm about 70 miles from where I grew up. So it's like a 150-mile run, which is great for thinking and chilling, but I love my mom, a mama's boy, dude. So, like, you know, life, it's life and it's death. It's part of the life.
That's great.
Which, whenever I come back from those visits, I'm always like, you know, I do about 3 a week. My brother does some, and the family, right? So, yeah. Some are good, some are bad, you know, and today was sort of in between, you know.
Yeah, 92 is a long run, though.
Yeah, it's challenging. I lost my dad 7 years ago, and he went fast, though, so, like, it was, like, it's just gone. And so there was a poignancy to that, I don't know, there's just something about just went to sleep, took a nap, and boom. And beautiful, too. Had the martini the night before, you know, whatever, 80. So, yeah, but people in my grandma lived to 100. Certain there's longevity in my family, so it's always interesting. I just want to honor how cool a mom I had, you know, and it's challenging because I want to go there a lot of times to just like cry, you know, like a little kid, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
I only play tough guys on TV, bro. I'm really like that's all fucking bullshit.
A teddy bear heart or.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like to think I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know, bears are cool. Bears are real cool.
Yeah.
You're not really sure if they're going to be Yogi Bear or Grizzly Bear, right? I love bears. I like bears. I like wolves. I like ravens. I love nature. I'm really, you know, appalled at what we do to our environment. Yeah. I mean, that whole thing, like for me, like I come from a family of people that like, you know, use math or use science. Obviously I didn't, but I come from that kind of people, you know. So to not believe science.
Oh, I know.
To take us back to like Galileo, to like, you know, Fauci is Galileo or whatever, you know, and it's still political and Machiavellian, and it's just what interesting times. Very Shakespearean times, the times of the quarantine.
I know. It's kind of it's something you would never expect, but you know, eventually it was going to happen. I mean,
now where are you, bud? Where are you located?
Ohio, Toledo.
Yeah, Ohio. So that's like, you know, that's like one of probably, you know, that's the hotbed of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm flipped about what I see in Ohio.
Yeah. I mean, our governor was doing decent at first, and then I think he kind of fed into the, like, let's open everything up.
Because Mike DeWine is your governor, right? Mike
Correct. Yeah.
DeWine, yeah. He stood up. Originally, he stood up for the people. I mean, I'm just saying, like, to me,
yeah.
For my mind, we're at over 200,000 people dead. We have 4% of the world population and over 20% of the casualties. Just that alone is disqualifying. That we should have 4%.
Yeah. We
should have 4%. We have 4% of the population. We should have 4% max.
Yeah.
That should be what we're talking about. And that would be 30, 40,000. And that's still too many.
And then all these people buying into the conspiracy theories and all that bullshit about, you know, masks don't work, whatever. They do.
Actually, you know, today, because now we're approaching the flu season, and apparently, you know, if 95% of us in this country would just wear the mask, it would save probably 100,000 lives between now, or 200 between now and the end of the year. We're actually going to double our death rate, potentially in the next just 3 months with this flu shit. So, yeah, I just wish people cared more about other people.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. That's the thing. I mean, the thing with the masks is you're protecting other people, not yourself. And people don't.
Yeah, but then the society, like that's one, right?
Yeah.
And then for me, like the fact that, you know, we have a society where we say all men are created equal, and maybe that's true if you're a white man.
Yeah. Like
you and me, right? But does it mean women are? I don't know. I don't think so. I want it to be. They're the better. I mean, to me, the better gender. They create the people. Women do everything we do. and they make the babies.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I believe in the one thing, I feel real grateful to do what I get to do. Right. And then, but the golden rule is what I try to live by, to treat other people the way I want to be treated.
Yeah.
Do others. It's real simple, you know, and that way you can treat someone with respect. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
don't you think? I mean, I saw that you know, the Baha'i faith and of course, you know, of course, it's the essence of, the essence of it. My wife used to sell Moroccan rugs, right? So we'd make forays into Morocco, and I was shocked. I'd never been in a Muslim country. And I learned a lot the very first trip, and then the second trip, and the third trip, and the fourth trip, about their hospitality. I'm Jewish, bro, you know? So I felt like I was, you know, they're just brothers of a different tribe.
Yeah.
We're tribal. This is what's happening in our country now. We're tribal. Fandom in conventions is very tribal, right? What's your cosplay? Yeah. You know, what group are you? A superhero group? You know, right? I mean, the tribalism is important to humans. It's what we do when we get scared.
But yeah, I mean,
when we get scared,
all tribes have connections, though. I mean, that's the thing we got to realize. That we
and there's positives about that.
Yeah,
there's positives because we're all cool. Mm-hmm. We're all great. My point is, I celebrate coolness in every culture, because that's how you grow and learn. And wow, you know, as artists, you know, we want to be loving and supportive and have a message of no ego, right? I mean, it's hard to do that, but that's the aspiration, you know, to be able to be generous. When you're in a lineup with a bunch of great actors, I mean, any one of these people can be the star. Mm-hmm. Any one of them can care a lot. You know, I'm a character. They call me a character actor. But I'm an actor that plays characters.
Yeah.
I'm just short, bald, and crazy looking, you know?
I know what you mean. I am too. So
yeah, buddy, come on, you know? But we're capable of romantic love. We're capable of anger. We're capable of being funny. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, it's just, where does the story go? What, you know, in my game, it's the story I follow. And, you know, in politics, I mean, obviously now politically we're a cult of personality and stuff too. It's what a world, but it's very Shakespearean. You know, I could see, you know, out of these turbulent times, great art coming out.
Oh, for sure.
You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm rewriting a political thriller that I was shooting before COVID, and then, rewriting it to include the COVID stuff to kind of make sense. So,
brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, it's like the main thing with that, I think that's bothering. I don't like the whole two-party system is kind of like sports in a way. It's like, you know, two football teams.
Well, George Washington, if you look at his, farewell address, he addresses that issue. Mm-hmm. When he left, they wanted him to stay forever president. Right? Because he was good, and he was, you know, people dug George Washington, and he is the one that set the precedent for a peaceful transition of power. And he warned that a two-party system will always be a war by its very nature, because you don't have any coalitions to build. Mm-hmm. You're just trying to pull it. You're trying to pull from you. You have to appease your base, and then in the general campaign, run to the middle. Mm-hmm. You know, that's it.
Because, I mean, the thing is, like, one party could say, oh, you do this and it'll solve all the problems in the world. But because the other party didn't come up with it, they're not going to agree.
Right. And that's ridiculous. We should be like, all citizens be going, can we go with the best ideas, please?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who thinks of them, for fuck's sake. We're all in it together. I think the middle class has taken a dump. Mm-hmm. I think the only people that have gotten wealthy in the pandemic are the rich people. Yeah. That's a problem for me. Mm-hmm. I'm struggling as a middle class actor.
Yeah.
Through the pandemic. I mean,
I've been lucky. I have a full-time job. I work at a Walmart, but, you know, it's a full-time job to at least keep my, bills paid. You know, while I don't do anything else.
I live in a town that's where Walmart is my spot. I was there the other day.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
I get it. I mean, I'm not against Walmart.
No.
I understand what they're doing. It's too late to like fight that battle.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're talking about they're a major employer, and they have fucking everything.
Yeah.
I can get paint to paint a painting. I can go and I found makeup to do for my theater stuff I do. A little vampire kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, Tillamook, geez. Holy, I need some charcoal toothpaste. Come on.
Yeah.
All in one place. I mean, I get it, you know, and the mom and pop got squeezed for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll still support the mom and pops when I buy a bike or when I go eat food or when I want to support my neighborhood sandwich shop. I want these guys in business.
Oh, yeah.
A liquor store.
Yeah. I try to eat at local restaurants as much as I can because that's.
I like your style, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just a little bit about, I mean, because you've been acting for a long time and stuff, and I just, want to, how'd you get started in acting? Just so,
Well, listening.
Yeah.
I mean, I started in school, I was like a child actor, like theater kid in school. And that was my start. But I grew up in Santa Monica, California. So like the people I grew up with, especially in high school, were all the young movie stars of the future. Right. And so it was also, my goal was always to be on film and TV, just to be a professional actor. I mean, I'm kind of like do it all. I like, there's nothing better than doing theater for the immediate gratification, for the connection to the other artists, for the control of the project that you get when you do theater. That's the actor's medium. Yeah. And so starting in school, then I went to college for it, and at UCLA got together with a bunch of other young actors and formed a theater company called the Actors Gang. And that was my sort of foray into the semi-professional world as we started doing shows outside of college in Hollywood, real punk rock theater. This was like 1981. Okay. It's going back a ways. And, we were a sensation. And out of the Actors Gang, I mean, Tim Robbins is the artistic director. Tim was like my older brother in college. He's still he's my older brother now, but he was a senior when I was a freshman. But our companies also produced Jack Black and Kyle Gass and the Tenacious D, the whole thing, and myself and a number of other working professional actors, right? So, and meanwhile, we've also, especially in the early days, we were a kind of like a place, it was like a hangout for young Hollywood. So Johnny Cusack, Jeremy Piven, a lot of Chicago actors are connected to kind of the work that I did as a young actor. And that's what kind of launched me in making films and television. As at 23, I sort of got my first agent and started landing my first jobs, first in professional theater. And then in January of 1987, I got my first movies. And the first one I ever did was called Tapeheads. A lot of my early stuff, I mean, I owe a lot to my career to Tim Robbins and my association with Tim, and then Cusack as well. I felt like, they used to call me Beef. That was my nickname. So I'm very much like, did you ever watch that show Entourage? Yeah. So I'm kind of like Turtle. Oh, okay. I ran with some fast people. And in the best of ways, I was a baller though. In the theater, I usually was I played a lot of leading roles in the theater, from 65-year-old Pentecostal preachers to megalomaniacs buying and selling the world, to a fix-it shop technician needing homemade electroshock therapy to recover his life, and everything in between. And that's what I'm saying about like the capability of a Hollywood character actor. I'm playing lead deep roles on the stage, and I may not be challenged exactly the same way, but I have a color to bring, a responsibility. Maybe I'm an obstacle to the lead character on a TV show, or that's most likely I'm hired to be an obstacle in a scene or in an episode.
I mean, and the thing is, there's nothing. I think with character actors, you have more of a longevity than I think leading actors sometimes too. I think.
I'm not putting any judgment on it, because I think the style of storytelling now has become much more realistic. Where I I look like a person, so I could be the dad. I have kids. Yeah. I'm saying I have children. You know what I mean? I've experienced being with girls before. I have, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's life experience. It's like you don't just have to be 6 foot and gorgeous. You can be unique now. We're giving credit to these unique actors and stuff. So, but a lot of credit, of course, in Hollywood goes to the great casting directors that see the theater, that pay attention, that see what's going on, and having good relations with them through, you know, them coming and supporting the theater when I was young really helped me and got me going, you know, and it's a big part of it is it's a team game. It's a team sport.
Do you prefer theater or film and TV?
I prefer film and TV.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you get paid better. Mm-hmm. More people see your work.
Yeah.
It's a bit more exciting to travel. What I really like about the requirements of the acting is it's forever. You get one fucking crack at it.
Yeah.
So you have to be ready on the day to execute that scene you're working on. Mm-hmm. Right. In theater, although my acting coach, I study acting, I take class every week. I'm constantly working as a student, I'm learning. And one of my goals that I work on with my teacher is that every take is different, always fresh, right? And so there's something really exciting about that in film, the capturing of that moment of, we're blowing this pirate ship up. We're going to explode this. Can you please clear before we blow that? Be funny right here. Run over there. Sword fight that zombie. And you get one crack at it.
Yeah.
So you rehearse for days, weeks, whatever it is. And then can you execute it?
Yeah.
Can you be calm under pressure? Can you be funny under pressure? Can you cry under pressure? Right. Of them jamming a camera in your face and 100 crew members going like, I am ready for lunch when you get this again.
Yeah, and the thing, I mean, like you said, film is forever, too. It's like, it's going to be there.
It's forever. I can still remember.
Yeah. I
can remember watching a film for me. I can remember what lunch was a lot of the time, where the catering was, what my trailer looked like, what jacket. You know what I mean? It's weird. It triggers deep sense memory and some of the theatrical memories I can recall. But being, on stage is a bit more like being in rock and roll. The audience and the relationship, and it's much more of an experience to go through. Filmmaking is actually like laborious and technical, and the key is being able to get there when you need to get there. Some actors need to stay in character all freaking day to get there when they're called. And I respect them for it but the deal is with acting, it doesn't matter how you do it, how I do it, how anyone does it. It just matters that all our styles mesh.
Yeah.
Result oriented business,
Y'all have to be in the same film.
Yeah. Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. You know that. Yeah.
Hey folks, this is Michael E. Cullen II from the podcast that you're listening to right now, along with
Matthew Haas.
We just wanted to tell you about our great podcast called Super. It's called All Too Real. And on that show, what do we do, Matt?
We watch biopics, and then we talk about whether or not the movie matched up with the real story or not.
So it
was a lot more exciting than that, though.
Yeah, so we analyze the real story and the real story. Get it?
Real.
Yeah, they're spelled differently, folks. You can guess which one I said which way. Anyways, so sometimes we have a guest, sometimes we don't. But we talk about great movies like Shattered Glass and The Social Network and Futile and Stupid Gesture, among others. Those are some of the ones that we've covered so far, and we're going to cover a lot more. So please subscribe on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your great, fun podcasts. And be sure to share it with your friends.
Do it.
And make sure you're not afraid to get all too real. Bye-bye.
Younger self of you, if you had any advice to give yourself, what would it be?
I mean, don't take it so seriously. Don't be such an egomaniac. If I can have more fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride. Have confidence. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I was very confident. But I was scared. I mean, it's a scary game too. mean, I think I've come out, pretty good, but just now maybe I'm more mellow. I'm a dad. I have more curiosity with my kid. I'm more realistic about what it takes to, I have a lot of gratitude, and I realize I've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And
I'm still real hungry. That's a thing, right? I'm still as hungry now as I've ever been, right? To get my next. That's what feels good, that I'm still doing it. Thursday nights I'm Zooming. In this pandemic, I did a production basically of, we called it Zooming for Godot, and we rehearsed it. It was based on Waiting for Godot, but basically about 4 actors waiting for the pandemic to end. You know what I mean? And I've done a bunch of readings, and now I'm doing a Thursday night kind of salon through my theater company with this group called Cabinet of Oddities that I produce and am part of. And every week we have a different theme. It's a 2-hour jam with whoever wants to show up, bring a character, bring an image, bring a poem, bring a song, no judgment, no ego. Something to do. We're all there coming from love, and that doesn't sound corny, but as artists, we're just supporting each other. Just know that everyone, if there's 25 people wanting to get on stage, we got to get 25 people on and off in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, there's and it's been real rewarding, and maybe it turns into something going down the road, because we're building a great cast and a certainly unique style and communicating really effectively through this, I take acting class on Zoom, and it's great. It's so perfect, because I'll get into here and play scenes here, right? And it's like a close up.
Yeah.
So you're practicing your close up, and depending on how you pin it. Right now, I'm in a side by side with you, but if I'm doing a scene with you, I'm pinning your screen. I'll slide mine up to the top, or even hide my self view.
Yeah.
And then I just can play the scene it's just like we're having a conversation. It's exactly what we do. And then it really translates to, when you watch it back, you go, okay, that's good film acting. You're just living on the frickin' screen. It's just like this conversation.
Yeah. Film is so personal too. It's like you're right there.
You're inside there, dude.
Yeah.
You're inside.
Yeah.
You're inside the box.
Mm-hmm.
The goal, as a filmmaker, is when we get into these close-ups, we're getting psychologically into the character.
Yeah.
They always talk in film directing, right? Do we start tight and go wide, or do we start wide and go tight? A lot of times that's how you watch major filmmakers, they'll tell the story just either wide to tight or tight to wide.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with what's in the script. It's just how I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Starts on a phone, widens out to see the whole room of all the president's men. Whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So,
as far as film and TV go, what has been your one of your favorite roles so far?
Well,
or do you love them all?
I mean, I love it anytime I get paid and can pay my mortgage or my rent or my car payment or my, go out and have a sandwich.
Yeah.
As an actor, that's cool. So I'm thankful for all my roles.
Yes.
But I mean, some of my favorites. Did you ever watch Action?
Yeah, that was with Jay Moore.
Yeah. That was a good.
Yeah.
That was a fun show. That one caught me by surprise. Doing the first full male frontal nudity on network television.
Oh wow!
I mean, talk about courage. You know what I mean? And I needed the job, so I was like, whatever. You're the character though. Mm-hmm. They come to you and they go, listen, we want you. Would you take this? And I'm like, yeah, I don't shower with anything on. And they're not going to, it's television. They're going to block it. It's going to be creative. Listen, man, there's only going to be 5 people in the room with you. And I go, yeah, and 100 around the monitor. Just let's go. They're all like that. But I was a guest star on the pilot, bro. Suddenly I'm a regular on the show.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Because the courage of the actor, because we are the character. We're not. The difference between me and a non-professional actor is that I'm able to get to the place where I forget self and can get and just be the character. Showing a lot of times ugly stuff that you wouldn't share normally. The stuff that it's interesting, right? The characters that are darker or go to the places that, sharing some personal darkness, possibly. Right. So that's the beauty of the art is just that you go there and you inhabit, but you come out. It's art. You know what it's a craftsman. We're we're guild members, Screen Actors Guild. So like we're craftsmen.
Yeah.
Way more of and if it becomes art, it's because the audience makes it art. The audience, it's one of the only art forms where as performers are the only people where the audience defines the art. Performance, music performance, as opposed to, or dance performance, right? People have to watch.
Yeah.
Acting for sure, someone has to watch. It's intrinsic in the art that it's actor to audience. Right. So the audience defines the art. Like you say to the craftsman, you built a bitchin' house. Man, that paint job is really good. You can tell the difference. I work, my brother-in-law's a contractor. I flip houses and I work with him. I good enough where I can help on some of his projects doing little stuff. Right. And he always looks in the corners. The corners tell you everything about construction, about painting, about how good the floor job was done. Just look in the corners if you ever want to buy a property. Well, that corner looks pretty tight. It's going to be good construction. The paint, you take your paint and you sweep. I learned how to sweep from construction. You sweep from the corner of the room to the middle, from the corner to the middle, and then from into the middle of the room. And that's how you clean a construction site, right? And so those kind of stuff for acting, very practical, building a foundation, appreciating the costume and, taking care to like work your accent, your dialogue, so that when you get on set, you're able to play, right? You're able to take it somewhere that the other actors, you're open enough to listen to. Like, I loved working on Once Upon a Time as my most recent, the show that I was on. Because you'd be in a scene with Lana Parrilla, Ginny Goodwin, Josh Dallas, Robert Carlyle, right? These are real actors, right? So first of all, it's different all the time. They're changing it up. You got to pay attention. It's never going to be exactly the same. They're actually trying to do it. And that kind of living, you just inhabit. I'm in Granny's. I am drinking a beer, eating some lasagna. There's the curse. It's just real, right? So
yeah, Once Upon a Time's been my latest binge. I'm almost I didn't watch it when it was on for some reason. Everybody told me, "Oh, you gotta watch it," and I didn't. But I'm almost done with season 6 right now. So yeah, I just started a couple weeks ago, and I've just been. Yeah,
it was a fun show. I mean, and honestly, it truly it was a big deal for me because it really it took me up a notch and another kind of validation. Every time you land a good one in my kind of level of this game, it just adds more credibility to all the other stuff I did earlier in my career.
Yeah.
And that's what the character actors kind of experience where, you get discovered kind of, then they go like, "You're the guy in Pirates?" And I go, "Thanks." Thanks. Yeah. I don't want you to necessarily call that out right away. You know what I mean?
Kind of like a good special effect. You don't want people to know that it exists. So kind of almost.
Well, a lot of people, when I did Pirates, they thought it was English or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, a lot of this game is like the mystery of it and just enjoying it, being grateful. How many people get the opportunity to do, be on someone's Zoom podcast and discuss I treat people, my rule is really treat the regular people like the superstar, treat the superstar like the regular Joe, because that superstar appreciates it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't kowtow. You just go, "Hey, man, yeah, can you throw your plate in the sink, bro? Seriously."
Yeah. I will say it. I mean, back to Once Upon a Time, I owe that all to I just need to say this out here, my niece, because I was over at her place one day playing with her baby, and she had Once Upon a Time in the background, and I'm like, "What the hell is this? This looks good." So, yeah.
You know what? It's a lot of our, we had a huge following in the 18 to 49 women demographic. It's one of the reasons why the show was such a juggernaut. And the main characters that obviously are the most beloved are going to be our princesses and our princes, right? So Grumpy, he's like the uncle. Mm-hmm. So I have great experiences being in the convention world. I was usually a lot of the hosting for Creation Entertainment. I would be the host of the shows. It was fantastic. But there would be the dad or the uncle.
Yeah.
Brought the niece to the convention. And the wide-eyed, the kids has the best time of their lives meeting these people like Lana or Emily DeRaven or any number of the great Bex Mader and these inspirational actresses. And the dad has just got this big smile, and I'm like, yeah, you've scored some big dad points, man.
Yeah.
And I'd always give him a thumbs up, and that's cool, you know? And
yeah.
so in a lot of ways, a lot of our audience, the dads would be like, I'm a fan of the show. I mean, Rumpel's a badass. He's a coward, as you know, in his previous life, but once he turns to the dark one, he's a scary character.
Yeah.
Right? Josh, I mean, Prince Charming, great character. Captain Hook, oh my God, Colin, like, great take on a pirate. Between him and Johnny, like two iconic pirate characters I got to work with. Yeah. So,
and they're both totally different, but still pirates and
still with that charisma.
Actors. Yeah.
Oh, great actors. But both of them had the interesting thing was, right, with both of them is they just have that swag. And, you know, that swagger of like both Colin and Johnny are just, they're good looking, nice, just rock star kind of guys, both rock star kind of dudes. It's like, Johnny got that right. Johnny nailed that with Jack Sparrow. He saw pirate as rock star.
Yeah.
He made that connection of rock stars of the age. And then, of course, he added the Pepe Le Pew because he's Johnny and very creative, right? So he combined Keith Richards and Pepe Le Pew by his own definition to find Jack Sparrow. And honestly, one of the most, I mean, not since Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, the level of comedy that he nailed on that one is, I think, on that level. Benny and June level, if you ever, I'm a huge fan of
That's
June.
One of my favorite movies. I went as
This is an homage to Buster Keaton, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I went as Johnny's character from Benny and June one year for Halloween. So yeah.
But there you go. See, I knew, but I see, even reading like your bio and your whole thing, I was like, this guy knows cinema. And you know, and that's what it is I'm talking about. Yeah. It's like the fans that are cool enough and the devotees of the art form and then filmmakers. That's why we become filmmakers. Yeah. It's because we're fans of the art, a la Quentin Tarantino, some of the best filmmakers there are. John Cassavetes, some legendary kind of filmmakers that just did their own thing. But it's the passion of other people's work that inspires you. Yeah. Johnny inspired by Buster Keaton and the physical comedy of the silent days and stuff.
Yeah. Is there anybody that you haven't worked with yet that you would be interested in working with, that you're dying to work with?
I mean, yeah. No. I mean, because I don't want to limit myself by saying, there's so many. There's too many. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. You know, it's kind of like a ridiculous. I could just go off the top of my head, 1 million actors I would go, you know, instantly, you know, and I would love to work with everyone I've ever worked with because there's something about the, you know, reuniting. For sure. There's the magic. I'll tell you one of the secrets of Once Upon a Time that when I watch the episodes myself and now on Disney Plus, it's super cool that we're now there. The other thing about the forever business, about capturing these moments forever in film and TV, the way we do, what you're like on that day, what you had for lunch, what the weather was like, what jokes did the crew tell you that day, right? How good was the cell phone service on the mountain that day, whatever it is, right? It sticks with you. But what translates onto the screen is how the cast relates off the screen. If you're like when Mackenzie and I were assigned to become best buddies by Gore Verbinski, we connected off the screen. We hung out. We were best buddies off the screen and on during making those movies. And so the love between those two wacky pirates was real of two friends. The same way I could relate to Love and Marty and as crazy as Marty is, or Kevin McNally as Gibbs and, you know, and seeing Orlando. Oh man, thanks for having that great party at your place. And just levels of it. Yeah. And then once upon a time, we'd go out to dinner, we'd go go-karting, we'd play golf, we'd have lunch. And so suddenly you're caring about that person off the screen. It says that you care about them on the screen. And so developing relationships is key. So actors I respect, so many. I mean, of my number one would probably be, I'd like to be in a movie with Javier Bardem. Yeah. I just love Javier. And you know, he's from No Country to Old Men. I'd like him to be more like did you ever watch Beautiful?
Yeah.
Right, where he has the cancer and he's the tough guy and the whole thing. It's like, I'd like to be real in a movie for once, where it's just like I get to really throw down my what I work on in class, character that gets to be real. You know, that would be a dream kind of role for me, to show what I can do, you know, emotionally.
I'm sure that'll come. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It is. It's the journey. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I land some sitcom, and then I'm happy just making faces. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's like the challenge is to, doesn't say writer by my name. It doesn't say director. It doesn't say producer. I mean, I can wear those hats. But when I wear the actor hat, did you ever see Extras? The old Ricky Gervais show?
Oh yeah. I watched every episode of that. Yeah.
Okay. So when he's on there with Ian McKellen and Ian is explaining how to act, and he's got the script and he's like, well, dear boy, it's a thing called the script. You open it up, you read it, you find where it says the character, your name, and then you say what it says, right? That's like, sometimes we try to do too much. Just read the script. It tells you what to do, you know?
I mean, sometimes it is just mechanical. Sometimes you got to get in there, but I mean, you can't get beyond the mechanical unless you have like you said before, foundation of what you're.
You got to have the chops.
Yeah.
You got to have the chops. You'll get called on it. I mean, any one of us can just stand there and look like something, but what's underneath? And you know, when you're making and trying to direct actors and work with actors, trying to coax a performance out of it, sometimes it's, you know, you can't necessarily say how to say something. You have to have the feeling underneath. Because acting is never what you say. It's always how you say it.
Yeah.
The writing is the what you say. The acting is the how you say.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times when you say something, you're not actually saying what you're saying. You're saying the subtext of something completely different.
Hello.
Yeah.
How do you make $1 million a movie? Mm-hmm. Say one thing out your mouth while your eyes say something different.
Yeah.
That is movie star. That is movie acting. That's TV acting now. Mm-hmm. How do you, that you play the opposite? Play two emotions at once, one vocally, one, visually. Yeah, that's what you're trying to do. That messes up your audience, right? That's how you get into the pathos and to create a cathartic reaction in your audience. Because you have to go through something as the actor.
Because that's what's real too. Because like if somebody asks you, "How are you doing?" and you're like, "Okay," you're not really okay. You're just saying okay because
right.
Yeah, that's just how we are in real life.
Yeah, well, that's what we were trying to recreate, right? Mm-hmm. We're the difference between kind of like stage acting or performance acting and kind of film or TV is that it's not about doing anything on film. It's about undoing it. It's about letting it affect you. And that's what we're talking about when you're saying, I'm okay, and you're really not okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the challenge. Those are the moments we live for. We, as actors, we want to be able to first, get lucky enough to land a role that challenges us in that way. And then hopefully be in a situation where it's executable. Crew is professional, production is professional. And then, I always say that as an actor, they pay you for the waiting and all the bullshit. The acting part is what you do for free. That's your contribution, right? All the rest of it, getting flown somewhere or hanging out and, having a late night, a Friday night kind of call time or something. That's what they pay you for. But the acting part where you get to go out there and be like the Joker, or you get to do something fun, grumpy, and swing a battle axe in Dungeons and Dragons, or be a pirate, or I've had a lot of ones that are super fun. Warriors of Virtue, Kung Fu flying, in China, whatever it is. The fact is, I'm grateful every day. I thank the universe for the opportunity. I make sure that I set my intention to have a good time. You're one of the lucky ones when you're working. So that's a big part of it. And then when you're in that mindset of very positive, very open, I think good things can happen.
Would you?
Hi, folks. This is Michael Lee calling the second from the podcast that you're listening to right now, along with
Manager Matthew Haas.
You got promoted?
Yes.
Damn it. Okay. Anyways, folks, do you like the show Superstore? I don't know. I asked the folks and nobody's answering me.
Because they're not here.
Oh,
but we love
damn it. Yeah, we love it, though. Okay, folks, if you like it as much as we do, you're really going to like the Super Story podcast, which is a podcast where Matthew and I go episode by episode and give our little opinions and thoughts on it. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. Just depends on how we're feeling.
Yeah.
And, so if you like this podcast and like our little crazy banter,
then you should definitely check this out. Or I might get sad. And when I get sad, it gets pretty sad.
Yeah,
so
I can't deal with him when he's sad.
No one can really. So
yeah. So check out Super Story Podcast right here where you get this podcast, Super Story Podcast.
Would there be any advice you'd give to somebody that's interested in getting into acting, or would you?
Don't do it. What are you, crazy?
That's what I was wondering.
But if you're crazy enough to do it, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
We're all people that have been said no to a million times. Like, why do you want to do it? I would be one question. I would say, why? Like, what, if you're doing it for money, it's a stupid thing to do for money. Better off being a plumber. Way better off being a plumber. Mm-hmm. But if you have stories to tell, welcome to the club. Yeah. We're all a bunch of misfits. For many years, and it actually started in ancient days. Back in ancient Greece and even ancient Rome, the storytelling was sacred. It was only really the rise of the church, as rival theater. And, then, and in the Dark Ages, the actors were vilified. It was like, that they were never allowed to own property. That's when the Commedia, the traveling. In the Dark Ages, it was traveling, telling Bible stories. But then, later on, even in the 18th, 19th century, the court theater, the Shakespeare, that was in the Elizabethan times, still no actors or dogs allowed. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Dude, that sign was around in 1890. Mm-hmm. Dogs or actors allowed. But what happened was when the movie screen came out, when the movies were invented, suddenly then we take on a larger role again. The sacred is back. Going in a dark theater is more powerful than anybody's, as the rival of the message. And this is what we now, 100 years or something later, we have to deal with cult of personality, like reality show, influencers, all this social media. And it all started with the first film taking over and changing the dynamic, where now we're revered too much as actors. Why do we care about, and I don't know her, and I've heard she was very nice, but say Kardashian or any of these reality stars are huge. TikTok stars getting giant movie deals, that should be going to me.
Exactly.
But that's just the nature of it. I don't let's say discount or poo-poo someone else's success.
Oh yeah.
But I also go well, that is the byproduct of this thing that if I was going for a PhD in either theater study or film study, would be probably my thesis would be, I would study this, the change, the vilification of the performer, because it rivaled the message originally of the church, I think now it's been co-opted by corporation and media and all this other stuff we could get into, what would be the modern. There would be courses on this, I'm sure, in schools. Oh, yeah. So it's a PhD level kind of thing that I'm definitely not, I don't have the brain for it, but, as a performer, I've always could tie myself into the ancient performers. The Navajo, right?
Yeah.
The Navajo, famous blanket weavers, famous musician, right? If you ever look at a Navajo blanket, these intricate patterns always have one pattern that trails off the rug into infinity. That's called the spirit line. And the concept of the spirit line is that rug, that pattern, that art is always going around in the universe. In the same way, when the musicians play their music, they start out soft, tapping into the spirit line of the music. Then they make the connection, ba, 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 and it comes up. So the spirit line is out there for all of us. We just need to see it, and everyone's is different and everyone can find it. But, the higher power for everyone is available, however you want to define it. We can surrender outcomes as artists. We can surrender ego as artists. We can think about other people and wear frickin' masks in a pandemic.
Yes.
But I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm an actor. My opinion is my opinion. It's no more valuable than the plumber.
Yeah.
But I'm also can do plumbing.
And the thing is your opinion is still valid, because I hate it when I see things where people are like, oh, why is that actor or musician telling me how to think? They're not telling you how to think. They're just telling you how they think.
Right.
And that's,
yeah. I never would listen. I think that's very, very important to share your own experience and not tell someone ever how to do their own thing, because whatever they're doing has nothing really to do with you anyway, unless you're taking everything personally or making assumptions about everything. Right. It's hard enough. Life is challenging enough just to make it through the day. There's days when I have to grip hard on this earth with my toes. I feel the revolution. Like we're spinning. I don't know. How fast are we spinning on the earth? Yeah, it's fast. The earth spins fast.
Yeah, it does.
Think about it. We should all be flying in the air right now. So and I think that's what grounds our society. We learn this. I feel like we're essential. We actors are essential. You know how I know that? Because as soon as content runs out on Netflix, they're freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Okay. We're essential. We're not before grocery workers, garbage men, certainly healthcare, first responders, but we're not far after that, where we make society better, like to be entertained.
If we didn't have acting and music and film and theater and everything, we would be
video games.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, video games now are big money theatrical stuff.
I mean, they're just as essential as film and TV and everything. And I mean, and like you said, like if I know that a lot of networks are now having to air things from other countries and stuff like that because of shutdowns and stuff. And so it is essential, obviously.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The definition of essential really kind of is everybody, and to label anyone essential it does point out the thing, because like how many times do you think your grocery worker is the most essential? Yeah. But it's pretty essential.
You didn't have
your gas station dude, you're the guy that runs the tire shop. I think the guy that makes tacos for me and the restaurant and stuff, Yeah. So, I mean, it's just an interesting time, brother. It's like, maybe we didn't talk enough about sort of acting in movies. I'm always available for that too.
Oh, that's fine. But the world is so crazy right now that, I mean, I love talking about life in general anyway. So,
well, we're storytellers, man. I mean, as actors, we're relating like our own experience. I live in a beautiful, beautiful place. Very, very lucky. I made a move about a year ago out of the city to a little like slower paced area. And, it was lucky for me in the pandemic. Right. But right away, March, I did a convention the first week of March in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right when the first people, we hadn't started, there was no lockdown, nothing going on, but I was aware of what was happening. And I wasn't masked at that time. No one was. No. A few people had it, a few. Yeah. March 1st, the weekend up before March 1st, I think was a Sunday. So maybe it was the Thursday or Friday I traveled. Anyway, when I come back, I did a 2-week quarantine just because I was like, I'm just going to lay low, because I've been in airports and traveling at a convention with a bunch of people. Okay. And then that, whatever it was it Friday the 13th in March? It was March 13th. Yeah. Which would have been 2 weeks. There's like a notification from my kid's school saying that one of the parents had it. Oh, wow. But they wouldn't say who, because they couldn't legally. Yeah. And they didn't know if the kid had it. There wasn't enough testing. So then we did another 2 week because we said we could be the spreader. Yeah. And that's how it started for me. So mentally, right then at the beginning of March, I go, well, I mean, I can actually handle this better than most people because I can pretend to be an astronaut on the way to Mars. I can pretend to be a pirate sailing across the sea. You're not getting anywhere for a month when you're traveling the sea in a pirate ship. Because the psychological effect of hanging home for a couple months drove people. It's like we're having a mental health tsunami in our country.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm a essential quote unquote worker. So I only had to quarantine for a week because I came in contact with somebody and they made me contact, so I couldn't leave my apartment.
Did you were you tested though?
No, this was before they had the tests like everywhere. So one of my coworkers had the virus, like probably this was back at the very beginning of everything.
Well, it was in California in November. People were real sick November, December, January, with a cough, with the same symptoms. They had it. So the virus was actually here way before we knew it. Potentially it was in here, mixed in with the flu. But the flu, because we're saying like, listen, it's only the flu. But imagine in 1918, the same flu that we now call it's just the flu wiped out millions of people.
Yeah.
1918, right? So 1918, the last pandemic. So Corona is not going away. It's constantly mutating. It's a virus.
Yeah.
The only hope with these, the so-called vaccine, it's another flu shot. They don't know it'll not cure because it's constantly. So chances are that'll be like going and getting your flu shot.
Yeah.
It'll be put into the Walgreens run,
Hopefully it becomes that simple so we don't have all these people dying. It's just.
Well, no,
and we don't have, people denying the fact that it actually does exist too.
I just don't think it's common sense. I mean, I don't think we should be smart about it because if we had dealt with the pandemic first, if we'd actually all just gone, hey, let's all for 2 weeks, let's chill out. Everyone. America's not, I mean, we would lose World War II right now, bro. No one's going to volunteer to do anything. We're lazy people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're the most self-centered country ever. And it's because that we were provided a lot of opportunity and we should be more generous with it. My humble opinion.
Oh yeah. And I mean, if we don't appreciate it, eventually it's going to go away anyways. And then,
I mean, it is going away.
I mean, it is. And people are going to be surprised when it's completely gone and they're not realizing that they were part of the problem. But
we're all part of the problem.
We're all part. I mean, I'm just as much as anybody else.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, what I'm saying is like, I'm not blaming, I'm accepting.
Yeah. My
part of it. Like the other thing too, my big thing is this, I live in California. We have we have fires that are really horrifying, now wiping out communities. I mean, it's really scary. And the non-acceptance of that science is bothering me because I think that we're talking about it wrong. I don't call it climate change. I call it human extinction.
Yeah.
People go, oh, the Earth's in trouble. I mean, the Earth's not in trouble. It's the humans that are in trouble. Dinosaurs got in trouble, because of what happened. And so we're going the way of the dinosaurs if we don't wake up and realize that, that is the issue. The Earth, if you've ever seen what happens when humans are gone, the Earth regenerates very nicely.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the dinosaurs went away. We will go away, but the Earth will still be here. It's not.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. So let's, and we have the opportunity as storytellers, as science fiction buffs, as, I don't know. I mean, it's just people that are connected to other people to spread more of a message of that, of hope, of opportunity, of let's get it together. It's not too late. It's getting close. If we don't start doing stuff right away, yesterday was too late, really. But I think
hopefully we change things for our future generations and,
Right. I mean, it's probably going to be for my son's children that we're making these acts. We're already sticking with them a giant debt. I mean, just a lot of craziness. I can't go into the politics of it because I would, probably turn off at least 40% of your audience. Probably exactly 40% or 30, whatever the number is. And I respect everybody, but let's just all meet in the middle. Let's pick the best ideas. and let's go forth in harmony.
Yeah.
We're a great nation. Our diversity is our strength, and just give everyone their due. Men, women, whatever your orientation, skin color, who cares? Mm-hmm. Honestly, what's the quality of your heart?
It's like the whole, like Shylock, where if you prick me, I bleed and all that stuff. It's what it is we all bleed.
Absolutely, and we all cry, we all grieve, we all want the best for our kids. We're all we are so much closer to being the same than to be different. And that's one of my jobs, is to also point that out by showing the humanity in some characters, maybe, or finding it, right? And whether it's comedy, sometimes it could be just finding a laugh that connects the Seinfeld humor with the Midwest, with a Methodist family, the Jewish humor of New York, of Seinfeld, with a Methodist family in Kansas, or with Episcopalian family in Idaho, whatever. We're connected.
We have more in common than we don't. That's
Amen, brother.
Yeah. Well,
Amen.
I don't want to keep you too long, so thank you for your time and everything. And I'd love to talk to you again sometime.
Anytime, you know how to find me. Yeah. It's great. If you have more questions, let's do part 2. We can go into more like the acting thing. Really enjoyed it. It was easy money. Wish you all the success. Stay safe, out there, and keep in touch, brother, man.
Okay, that was my interview there with Lee Arenberg. Had a lot of good stories there. What's on your mind today, Matt? Before we close things up here.
Not much. It was riveting, very insightful, like you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Not really a whole lot on my mind other than just I don't know.
Just the world in general.
Yeah.
So people, be good to each other. Be excellent to each other, as Bill and Ted would say. And, just go out there, wear your fucking masks when you go outside, people. I'm just going to keep saying that, until we have a vaccine, until everybody's cured, and everything's fine, and everything's all rainbows and ponies and butterflies. Wear your fucking masks. It's not that hard. Anyways,
is I got a lung problem that I self-diagnosed.
Well, then you shouldn't be at Walmart, or Kroger, or wherever the fuck you are. Anyways, you shouldn't be there trying to kiss all the people in the grocery store. Anyways,
Whoa.
Well, wait.
What?
Maybe that's just me. Anyways, I'm going to leave some links in the show notes, so that'll give you some organizations you can do to help with this COVID shit and all the other shit going on in the world, And hopefully this world gets back to basics and we all love each other again.
Back to basics.
Did we ever love each other? Anyways, so where is the love? As Fergie would say. Anyways, anything on your mind here, Matt, before we close this up?
No, not really. Just what you said, pretty much.
Okay. Well, that's all for All Too Real 2 today. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Haas. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.